I have time for one comment from each of you. I'm so sorry. Harsh Gupta, I'll quickly come to you first. What do you think of what Trump said? What are India's options right now? Negotiations still very much on. August the 1st is only a couple of days away.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. In any negotiation where the other guy is using a maximalist strategy, where I partially disagree with the honorable ambassador who just spoke, it's not about what you can further concede. It's also how you can inflict pain. That's very important to understand. Because, for example, Trump's tariffs are all focused on goods. He does not talk about services where America has a structural advantage. We have given a complete carte blanche to US big tech. Just to give you some numbers on that, official trade might be just in the $10-20 billion, but if you then include numbers that is routed through Ireland, it's another $20-30 billion. The deficit we always talk about is a goods deficit, but if you include software, internet, routed, rerouted, education spent by Indians in America, actually there is a study by GTRI which shows that the deficit is gone. In fact, even might be a surplus for the US. Most important thing is, first and foremost, put US big tech on the negotiating table. Put the companies, for example, Microsoft removed Nayara's access to its own data for a time, for 1 day, yesterday, even though it's a completely incorporated Indian business. And we should not take that lying down at all. There should be punishment for that. It should not just be forgotten. Number two, we must increase the defense budget. If you do not have a stronger defense spend, indigenous especially, you will not be in a position to negotiate any kind of geopolitical or economic upside. 2% is absolute peanuts for India as a percent of GDP. Even Europe is talking about 5%, even though they're including infrastructure and all of that by 2035. Number three, we have done too much of a good thing of virtue by having extremely tight and conservative fiscal and monetary policy. This, of course, relates to the first 2 points about, how do you put the domestic demand? So again, I disagree with the ambassador. It's not time to be defensive and again start depreciating your own currencies. Create domestic demand. In India, we have a lot of slack. And number five, finally, do not think of Indian IT exports or GCCs, Global Capability Centers, as a vulnerability. We have a tendency to be goody-goody front bencher boys thinking, hum ye karenge, they will remove that from our... No, there is no other talent pool in this world at that cost, at that depth and scale, which can service Fortune 500 businesses. That is actually a point of strength and negotiation, not vulnerability. We cannot appease the bully. You have to be able to inflict damage to the bully. Otherwise, this negotiation might just settle with some optical concessions. But it's not just about Trump. It will be another president later on. This is not about waiting out till the midterms next year. J.D. Vance will follow Donald Trump. Somebody else will follow the prototype. You have to hit back at the bully.
Willem, what do you think? How are you reading this? Do you think these endanger trade talks, or this is just signature Trump, hardball?
Yeah, this is not a trade deal. This is a one-sided, rock-hard move by a bargaining bully. 25% baseline tariff is punitive, even if it includes the 10%. It does not even include, most likely, the 10% BRICS tariff that the US has threatened this before, and nor does it include the penalties for purchases of fossil fuels and military equipment from Russia. So it is very aggressive. And the US can afford to do this because the US is a much more important market for India, accounting for about 11% of Indian exports, than India for the US, which is less than 3% of US exports. But this is the beginning of a negotiation which will last and which will, in all likelihood, result in India lowering some of its tariffs, which are high by international standards, outside the US now, and also removing some of the non-tariff barriers to trade, which Trump, I think, legitimately refers to. But no, this is an aggressive move trying to gain the upper hand in a tough set of negotiations.
Very interesting. Kushal, I've been following some of your posts as well on this. You said, remember, most of our exports to America are IT services. Goods exported to America are negligible. If I remember, it's less than 2%. India should look for a mutually beneficial trade deal. Let Trump type in all caps all his life. What do you think India should do back? You've heard Madhusudan, you've heard Willem as well, you've heard some of the politicians speak as well. What do you think needs to happen, Kushal?
Well, I think we need to buy more oil from Russia. That if that makes Trump throw a hissy fit, it would be so entertaining. For starters, he'll write in all caps again. I just love his all caps tweets. So for me, it's personally entertaining. See, India should not be put on a negotiating table with any country where there is a gun on one side and then you're just supposed to put your hands up. That's not how you negotiate. This is classic fluff and bluster by Trump. India should not be bothered by it. The best way to deal with Trump is not respond. Learn from the Australians, learn from the Japanese. Don't be belligerent with Trump. You feed he does these things. That's his way. He thinks he's the best negotiator, I don't know, on planet Earth. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. My whole thing is that it doesn't bother India beyond a point. It only bothers America because of all these IT services that Harsh spoke about, right? Now, if they tariff them, it's going to add to a cost to the Americans. It's not going to add a cost to the Indian side. So to assume that now something like this is going to... And remember, India has already reduced tariffs on multiple items that the Americans are already interested in selling to us. So it's not like India has not given America a goodwill gesture. So anything Trump does at this point of time is ridiculous. And at least one thing is put to rest, that Trump did not cause the ceasefire now, because he can't cause the ceasefire and then say, I will put tariffs on you. You can't have it both ways.
I'll give 30. I have enough time to give about 30 seconds to each one of you. Madhusudan, yeah, you wanted to come in quickly? Harsh?
Yeah. Shiv, the broader point here is that we are seeing the ushering in of a G2 world. If India really wants to be a genuine independent pole in this geo-economic order, we have to pay up for this. Enough rhetoric, have a defense budget, have the iron that backs what you're saying. Then you can actually remember this time Pakistan, China, for right now America are all hostile. There is no Soviet Union. Bangladesh is also in a hostile regime. India is in a very difficult spot and we are not spending as much we have to. Good defense indigenization has civilian spillovers, has innovation spillovers. It's the closest thing to a free lunch that we have in political economy today. We are wrong on this. We are being too conservative. Most politicians have to be stopped from spending too much. We have actually, in this case, out of complete sincerity, made a vice out of a virtue. We have to spend more on defense, on innovation, on infrastructure. We need domestic demand. We need to use our scale to negotiate more. There is no strategic altruism. All that is nonsense. It was never there.
I agree.
This is time to be really hardball.
Willem, do you think India will play hardball back and India should play hardball back in this situation?
I don't think she should play hardball. She should keep on negotiating and try and get a deal on the secondary sanctions over Russia and get the US tariffs down to the Japanese type levels of 15%. I don't think that under Trump anything lower is likely. Only the UK, which has a trade surplus with the US, has managed to sort of get it down to 10%. But I definitely think there is scope for calm but determined negotiation.
45 seconds left, Kushal, to you. Will India play hardball back? You know, we've heard the prescriptions now. Hoga ya nahi hoga?
Obviously, it's going to happen. You're going to have a trade deal most likely by September or October. This is classic Trump. Look at what happened with Japan. This is exactly what happened with Japan. Now they have a trade deal with Japan. This is what he did with the United Kingdom. He's going to do this with every country. And then they say, it's like Trump is the epitome of Besharmi. That I have to admire him for that. There are many Besharams on planet Earth. There is no Besharam bigger than Trump. I think he deserves a Nobel Prize for that.
He deserves a Nobel Prize for that. Okay, we'll end it on that note. You know, there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of histrionics, there's certainly a very thick layer of a theatre of the absurd when it comes to dealing with Trump. I think that just goes with the recipe, whether it is politics, diplomacy, or trade transactions. It's definitely all there. But thank you very much. This was all too brief. Again, my apologies to all of you. I couldn't come to you for a third round of questions. I did want to do it, but that's how live TV works. So my apologies to all of you, but learned a lot. Thank you very much. It's a story in motion, and hopefully we'll get some of you back as we continue to navigate this story on the Trump tsunami that has just hit. We will leave it there for the moment.